Hello everybody, I'm Alfred, and the video we're about to watch and listen to is a trailer for the movie The Princess and the Bodyguard. So let's check it out.
I'm here to meet my parents.
The king
and queen of Santovia. Yes, that's them.
We wanted you to have the opportunity to live your own life as you wished.
But
You will resume the responsibilities of being royal princess.
Princess? I can't do it, Mom. I don't want to change. I like who I am.
Where are the kid movies about real independent girls like us?
It is very interesting. So they are bringing the concept of feminism and the independent woman into a movie about monarchy and princesses. There is something you have to understand about that life of monarchy. There's a saying, that, duty comes before, basically everything else. Duty comes before love, duty comes before self, and that is the sacrifice that a king or queen, does in that life, in that concept of royalty. That is what they have to face. A lot of people, when you look at movies about princesses, especially when they want to make love stories about Prince Charming and a princess, they like to make it about the princess being honorable by choosing love. The moral of the story is not going the arranged marriage. So it's like, oh, there's an arranged marriage, but the prince or the princess happens to fall in love with one poor person somewhere. And then it's like the story is about how love prevails, in the sense of these two people who fall in love end up getting, the princess ends up with this poor person, or the prince ends up with a poor female, like it's in the case with Cinderella. That is how that works. But the reality of the matter is that in a real world monarchy, when a monarchy is involved, understand that a princess marrying someone could be saving the lives of hundreds of millions of hard people generations into the future. Let me explain what that means. Marriage is a way in that among monarchies, marriage is a way to seal treaties. It's a way to ensure that this kingdom and this kingdom will never fight. Because now the two kingdoms, the two royal houses of the two kingdoms are merged. And you see, if this was not done, there are a lot of empires past and even present that will not exist. For example, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, the part of the land that is called Saudi Arabia today, the founder of Saudi Arabia, he got that by conquering. He was a prince who conquered all his surrounding neighbors. And one thing he did, which previous people did not do, is that when he conquers, he will now pick a wife. He had multiple wives. He will pick a wife from among the royal family of the people that he conquered. And he will treat the royal family as you are now part of the Saudi family. So that is actually how the Saudi family came to be. It is a mixture of fallen kings, all united into one family. And when you do things like that, you won't have a situation where somebody will come back to kill him from the one of the families he conquered and now want to take his place. Because it's now one family. As a matter of fact, he himself, his father was killed and he was chased off, even though he was a prince. But when he came back and started conquering, he now followed this concept of also marrying all the royal houses. But it's not him that started it. This has been something that has been on. And that is actually something you have to understand about arranged marriages when it comes to monarchies. It is actually disnoble and basically evil and selfish for a princess or a prince not to go along with an arranged marriage. Because it is tied to the future of the kingdom. Let us say that a prince, or let's say a princess, decides to fall in love with one poor person from the kingdom and marry that person. understand that in that day and age where everybody was conquering everybody, now she has missed an opportunity to marry somebody from another kingdom, a royal house, and somebody from that family. So understand this situation. If there is a war, that family that she ignored, that she didn't marry from, they are kings and the entire kingdom. That is soldiers that would have helped them. They would not help. As a matter of fact, that family can hold a grudge. Or let us say that that family, that person that she could have married, had an arranged marriage with. Let's say that person goes and marries another, prince from another kingdom. And then the king from that kingdom looks at the land, of that princess who rejected, the marriage. And it's like, I want that land too. Because that is how people got land. By conquering other people. That was the main way that the largest pieces of land were gotten. It was not by investing. There was no investing. There was no stock market then. So imagine that situation. Now you have two powerful kingdoms that can now go and will now go and wage war, because the prize is all the wealth of this other kingdom, and all just because one woman chose to marry in the name of love. So when it comes to the world of monarchy, it is actually dishonorable, and it is wicked for someone to choose, to make their own decisions of, oh, I want to marry this person. No, duty comes first, and that is the sacrifice that comes with monarchy. There are other sacrifices, but you have to understand the demands of certain roles and functions. Those sacrifices, have to be made. Is it not better, and that is how it is looked about. It's not better that she manages, in a loveless marriage for the rest of her life versus having millions of people killed in a war, because she missed the opportunity to create a situation where that invading kingdom would have become, sealed in a treaty via marriage. And of course, feminism, doesn't think far, this modern day feminism. So they will want to put some kind of stupid concepts into, this kind of things,
Why are you following me?
I work for your parents.
A bodyguard?
No more than 6 feet apart at all times.
We've scheduled a gala.
It's tradition to bring a date. It's been like that for generations. We've lined up the creme de la creme of single men.
My family's from Sweden. My father's second in line to the throne there.
You want to touch?
No, thanks. Not before I eat.
Charles, Earl of Tempshire.
How old are you?
24.
I'm 35.
I like old women.
Something funny?
Sorry, princess.
You probably go to the bar every night and have a good laugh at me, but this is my actual life.
I was completely out of line. It won't happen again.
Who's this hunk?
We're dating.
How many dates have you gone on?
5? Hi.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know how I'm going to tell my best friend that I've been lying.
Now, apart from the poor acting, when you look at the plots, you may say in this day and age, even though there are some people who still do the monarchy stuff, there is not conquest as there used to be. There is still conquest, but it is different. Conquest is now via, using organizations like the UN, the World Health Organization, and all those kinds of things, and then things like the World Bank to lend money to nations and then end up being in a situation where you have those nations perpetually in debt to you. So that is one way of running things, because, like, for example, if you look at Africa, the wealth of Africa is controlled by the World Bank, thanks to the foolishness of a lot of African leaders, when it comes to understanding world economics. So Africa keeps on increasing its debt. It has gone from Africa being seriously indebted to the West. Now Africa is now being heavily indebted to the Chinese. China keeps on giving different African nations loans, and we are seeing the repercussions. They are giving loans that they know that these people cannot pay. For example, if I give you $1 billion, but the $1 billion I give you is I give you that you have to spend it on building yourself a mansion or a house, for yourself, or you should spend it on getting yourself cars and things of that nature. You are not to spend it on a business that will yield income. You have to spend it on upgrading yourself. you are not going to be able to pay it back. It doesn't matter how rich you are, but if you were to use that money to start a business, and if that business was to be successful, then at least you will have a chance of paying. But China is giving African nations money like, oh, take this and build yourself, make yourself look as up to date as Western nations. But the skyscrapers, the good roads, the amenities, and the infrastructure that America has is a result of the, under normal circumstances, those things are a result of successful commerce, successful merchant activities. That is what it's supposed to be. You cannot get the results. You cannot want the beautiful, upgrade this, build these beautiful mansions for yourself, make the roads even nicer, make this and all this, and you spend billions and billions of borrowed money on this. You're not going to be able to pay it back. It's like borrowing money and spending it on clothes on yourself. Where are you going to get the money to pay back? It's not like you used it to start a business, and then from the proceeds, then you'll be able to, not just upgrade your lifestyle, but also pay back in a responsible manner that is agreed upon. But you see, a lot of African nations are just setting themselves up for poverty, and that is actually the modern way of colonization and conquering. So Africa is actually being currently conquered, by the Chinese, but it's a peaceful economic type of conquest that does not involve swords and guns, like previous wars. But that is what is happening. This entire story, because of wokeness and poor insight, there are a lot of things they are not saying. Even in today's day and age, you have to understand the concept of class and even boundaries. Now they want to make a story about the bodyguard that was assigned to protect the princess falling in love with the princess. So now it's like, is the bodyguard now going to become the prince, or is she going to end up rejecting her role, kind of like what Simpari did with with the Markle's situation? What is this about? It shows, number one, he is not qualified to be a bodyguard. As a matter of fact, in real life, the people that are around, it's just like when you look at England and you see those guards that are trained to stand still no matter what happens. Those guards are specifically trained that way. They are not the same with Scotland Yard. They are not the same with the normal London police. They have their own training. Just like the Queen's National Guard, these people, they are different. So the kind of person that will qualify to be a bodyguard to a princess will be well versed and knowledgeable in that tradition, and they will understand the boundaries. This kind of situation will never arise where the bodyguard and the princess falls in love. It will, of course, it is the kind of storyline that people will like today, but it doesn't make sense. It's completely idiotic, and it shows irresponsibility, and selfishness on the princess's part. You can see that she is ignoring opportunities to marry princes and monarchs of other nations. That's a problem. And understand something about this issue, especially great wealth. When it comes to novels, people like conflict. There has to be conflict in the novel. And in romance novels, unfortunately, they put the conflict between the two people in the relationship. That is not true. Because even when you pick your friends, how much conflict do you have? You pick people, your friends are people who often think like you. And how many quarrels do you have with your friends? Certain quarrels you have with your friends, it's not like it can be patched up. You leave it, and you move on. But the reason is because of how closely similar you are. But when it comes to writing fiction, to create an exciting novel, a lot of people put the conflict between the characters, but that is not true. One of the reasons why marriages last longer than most others is because of how the two people think alike. As the scripture says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. There's a power, in two people who think the same way. There was somebody that once said something to me many years ago. He was like, if if someone wants to marry, they have to marry someone from the same church. And this was a Christian leader at the time to me, and he was like, if someone is looking at marriage, they have to marry from the same church, and the reason is because they have to be told the same thing, they have to hear the same things, because two people, they may be Christians, but the kind of messages that they are hearing are different, and that will create problems, because your IQ, not just your IQ, but the foundational beliefs, what's actually your foundational makeup of how you think and how you view the world, your perspective is different. So you have to be careful about that. I've often said that if two people are married and one person starts reading a book, the other person should start reading that same book. You should grow the same way and listen to the same voices. Because one of the reasons why people grow apart is because they start hearing two different things. They don't care. They don't think that they should, grow together, and they should learn together, and they should read the same books, listen to the same things, and all of that. So you have somebody that their reasoning processes and their beliefs and their philosophies of life is going in one direction. Another person the other person that is in that relationship, their beliefs and ideologies may remain the same, or may actually be going in a different direction. So we now have a problem, and that is unfortunate. That is one key reason why people grow apart. It is because they were growing, but they did not grow together. Human beings will grow. We would encounter new knowledge. We would have new ideologies. We will learn. We learn every day, whether consciously or unconsciously. We meet people, we hear, and all of that. All these things are changing us. But when the two of them are not in a situation where they are growing together with the information that they are receiving, one person will think in one direction, another person will think in another direction. Let's say that two people get married. One is, likes to watch red pill YouTube videos. Let's say that the man is listening to Kelvin Samuels, and then the woman is listening to Oprah Winfrey. These two people are married. As time goes on, there will be a great divide. Their fundamental principles and perspective of life will be completely different, and that relationship is eventually going to crumble. But a lot of them they will say things like, we grow apart. Why did you grow apart? It's because everybody grows, but you did not plan that you are going to be growing together. It's very important that you know that. Listen to the same things, watch the same movies, even the same sitcoms, whatever, if you are not planning on doing that, then you're already setting up yourself for a failed marriage.
To her for the last 10 years. What if I choose to stay in my normal life?
This is stupid.
It's good for your mental well-being.
I'm being paid to watch you. I'll close one eye.
Let's get it spinning.
Okay. Looks like it's time for your third date.
You and Marcus are a perfect match.
I had a feeling about the guy. He's no good for you. I'm supposed to protect you.
Well, I don't want you to protect me. People have been doing it to me my entire life.
You're some sort of royal princess.
I don't even know who you are. From this moment on, no more secrets.
That guy, Noah, are you actually dating him? Pretty convincing.
Your guest of honor is here.
That's definitely closer than 6 feet.
Who's counting?
So this is just sad. It's unfortunate when stories and movies are just so far away from, the reality when it comes to the plot and the settings and, the characters and basically the situations as well. That being said, if you like to be a part of, making Christian movies, movies that will change life and touch lives, reach out to us on Alfred.vip. We are looking forward to hearing from you. And if you haven't given your life to Christ, click the salvation prayer link in the description below, or just go to Alfred.vip and click the salvation prayer link in the main menu. A page will come out that has a prayer of salvation. Say that prayer telling God you want to become a Christian and begin your work with God. Thank you and God bless you.